Welcome to CAI Report. My name is Stephen Shuey. I'm a past president with the Community Associations Institute in the Coachella Valley. The CAI, as we call it, is a national organization of homeowners associations, the managers who manage these associations, the vendors who serve these associations are all part of the CAI. We're here to educate on how to manage these associations to make them a better place to live. One of the things we have happen in homeowner associations and in our communities is pests. You know, those little crawly things that are going around, they're everywhere. And the desert out here where I am is one place we have lots of them. To learn more about pest control, I've brought in one of our area's experts in that field from Powerful Pest Management, Lori Fahenstock. Lori, welcome to our show today.
Hi, Steve.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
So Lori, as I understand it, you've been in pest control for quite a few years.
Yes, I started when I was 3.
When you're 3, ooh.
Now I've been in the industry over 20 years.
20 years, wow. And how many trucks do you have now?
I have 9 trucks.
Wow, so it's quite an operation you've got.
It's pretty good.
Yep, and you covered the entire Coachella Valley. Do you step outside the valley at all?
A little bit in the upper desert.
Okay, and when we talk about pests, one of the things I think our audience needs to find out is why do they need pest control in a community?
Well, especially down here in the desert, we have a wonderful environment for everything. Roaches, ants, water bugs, silverfish, weevils, spiders, rats. It's a wonderful environment. So with the high temperature and the UV, everything's always constant. The ground really doesn't freeze here, so we have an abundant population of everything.
Ah, and I take it then what companies like yours do is help provide the control of that situation.
That is the key word, control.
So when we talk about this, the term of pest elimination, that's really not it, is it?
No, it's control. It's control. You can never eliminate a problem completely because the environment is always as it is. For example, the materials we use today, they break down within 30 to 45 days, tops. Then you add the UV and the watering that we do, and they break down quick.
So let's understand that then. So you say that the materials you use, that's the chemicals that you're spraying around or the granules or whatever it is, that breaks down in 30 days. Is that because of the EPA and their laws and things?
Yes.
So recurring application is pretty important then.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Does the control actually, does it really do some good control if you keep the application out there?
Yes.
Is it something that you might want to say that, can you lose control at some point?
Yes, there have been areas or associations, for example, who choose not to have a monthly service and just want to have a service on call as needed. And what happens is sometimes the fire ants take out of control or the rat population becomes way, way out of control. So most of the associations down here in the desert provide a monthly service for their homeowners to keep everything status quo. The rat population, the ants, that kind of thing.
How about those crickets?
And the crickets, yes. Right, we're having a wonderful cricket season, aren't we? And that is because, like I said before, the ground really doesn't freeze. So everything evolves. And crickets have a waxy outer shell. If you look at them, you can see, and it's hard for the material to penetrate it. Same thing with spiders. You can only control them. The material comes in contact with the spider, you've got control. But we knock down the food population.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
I've heard stories about the fact that some of these people think about, oh, well, I'll spray this month and then I'll hold off for a few months and spray another month. And then there was a story that went around about the fact, well, yeah, when you sprayed this month, you got today's roaches or today's crickets, but tomorrow the eggs will hatch.
That's true. That's very true. And for example, roaches, their egg capsule is very sticky and tough for the material to penetrate. And they do hatch, and there you go. We have the whole cycle all over again. So it's best if you monitor it or keep it up on a monthly basis.
I can see that. Now, when the guys go out and do the spraying in the average community, typically we're talking about the single-level homes, and sometimes two-story, and they're actually doing a process. You might want to explain it to us better. Is it a fogging or a spraying around the perimeter of the property?
There's various applications that can be done. They do a monthly pest control maintenance, which is spraying material on the exterior of the home and on the interior, and placing granules on the exterior, dewebbing the home. All that is part of the pest control problem.
Dewebbing, you mean like the spiders that create the
knocking
cobwebs
down,
and things?
yes, yes.
Okay.
That is a big part.
In most of the associations that you service, does the association pay the bill to have the entire community done, or are the individual homeowners paying to have their outside done? Is it different communities?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Some just go ahead and take care of the outside, and some of them, coordinates are taken care of by the homeowner. It's a fine line you don't want to cross.
Okay, that's fair. The fact is that if we're looking at pest control, we talked a moment ago about the need to have a recurring service. It sounds like if the association was to choose to have a periodic service, they actually find that to be more expensive because they're not getting the control they're supposed to have.
Right. Example, yesterday I got a call from a homeowner. She had a horrible fire ant problem. Went out, looked at the problem, and then talked to the property manager, and they said, well, the association doesn't have a service, so she was responsible to take up the cost. Well, the problem is she didn't want to do that, but it was spreading to her neighbor, and the neighbor next door past him. So it's one blanket thing, and then it gets out of control.
And it really is something that has to be controlled in order to make it effective. Certainly, if we don't have adequate control, it is going to get out of control. The bugs will be everywhere.
Right.
They're on the outside of the property, but as soon as they're out there, where's the food?
Right.
Inside the property.
Right. And that is a key. Keeping, homeowners are responsible to make sure there are weather strippings along the doors and around the windows, that everything's caulked. Part of the problem in pest control is everybody just thinks it's the spraying. You have to keep everything inaccessible as well.
That's an interesting point. All right. We're talking with Lori Fahenstock of Powerful Pest Management. We're talking about pest control in the Homeowners Association. She was just now beginning to talk about other areas in addition to the spraying her company does. There's things the individual homeowner needs to do to help control the pests. We'll get more on that when we come back.
CAI Report is brought to you by Bright & Clean Windows. Trust Southern California's favorite window cleaning company to provide consistent, quality window cleaning service to your home and office. Let Bright & Clean Windows make you look great by removing hard water stains from windows and shower door enclosures and by cleaning windows and mirrors to a gleaming shine. Call 346-9274.
Are you getting the most out of your banking relationship? At Community Association Bank, we exclusively serve community associations and professional management companies, saving you time by handling your banking transactions at your office. Community Association Bank. One bank, multiple options, maximum returns.
This is Mary Howell with the law firm of Epstein, Grinnell & Howell. With 3 Southern California locations and 20 attorneys, we offer prompt legal advice to homeowners associations. We can help you build a better neighborhood. Give us a call.
Epstein, Grinnell & Howell, helping you survive a legal sea of change.
Hey Tim, what's this I hear about your sponsorship with CAI doing so well?
My sponsorship in the television show?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's one of the best things I've done for the CAI, besides being a volunteer, that is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So is it helping you?
Well, it's helping me and it's helping my bottom line. I'm getting customers, I'm making money.
What a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And you can have that opportunity too. Give a call to the CAI office so you can be a sponsor on our CAI report. The telephone number is 760-341-0559. Welcome back. My name is Stephen Shuey. I'm here with Lori Fahenstock, and we're talking about pest control. And boy, I tell you, that's a big thing in the desert. Just as we went off the air, we were talking about the fact that the homeowners have some things they need to do to help control the pests in the neighborhood. My question then would be, so what can the homeowner do to really help control the population of the pests in their home?
Check around the thresholds and the doors, the windows, around the windows. That is part of pest control, elimination, any tiny opening, keeping it sealed. Absentee homeowners come back and they expect everything to be perfect. They never take the exterior walk around their unit to make sure everything's taken care of.
I see. And so they can actually make some inspections themselves.
Right.
You talked about the door thresholds, the weather stripping there. Of course, the pest control company doesn't have any control over that at all, do they?
No. Or how about the cable plates? That's a good one.
When you talk about cable plates, we're talking about the wall plates where the TV cable comes through.
Right. On
Okay.
the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very unique. Very unique for all types of problems, furry and otherwise.
Right, okay. The homeowner ought to be making a trip around the outside of their house to see if they have areas for intrusion.
Right.
Check the weather stripping, check the cable plates, that is the areas on the outside of the house where the cable company or the telephone company or the electric company brings those utility services into the house. Make sure all the cabinet doors are shut tight, the plates are on tight and properly sealed and secured. You know, it's interesting. We think that it's all your fault, that you ought to be controlling all these pests, but the truth is, all of us as homeowners have a responsibility there.
Right, and in feeding your pet outside. I can't tell you how many problems I've gone to myself where they have ants, the man's not taking care of the problem. You go out there and there's Fido's dish right there.
Half full of food, probably.
Yep. Or the trash. Or the fallen fruit from the fruit tree. All that adds up to a problem.
Fallen fruit from the fruit tree. I've heard this story about what they call fruit rats. Is that a problem in the desert as well?
Oh, yeah. They came to play golf just like you. Yeah. The rodents have acclimated to this area, and they're populating just as you can imagine. Yesterday, I went over to a place that ripped out a grove of date palms, and oh my goodness, they're like, we have all these rats. And I said, and so does your next door neighbor. The association's not real happy either. So, yeah.
And is that because they tore down the old trees in the next door neighbors or the community next door in preparation for building or whatever they're doing?
Yeah,
they've
they're
disturbed the home of these pests.
Sure, where are they going to go?
Yeah. Maybe that's a good call for if you know that they're going to take and do some construction nearby your community, it's time to step up your pest control to make sure you're prepared for that.
Right. Making sure everything's covered. You know, sometimes you can see a problem starting and you can tell the homeowner, and if they choose not to take it upon themselves to do something, you have to document it. Yeah.
And as a pest control company, most of your interaction, though, is with the management service or the board of directors as opposed to with the individual homeowners?
Right.
If a homeowner does have an infestation problem they think they've gotten away, or maybe it's right outside their home, what is their best bet? Do they call you directly, or do they call their management service or their board of directors?
Well, it depends.
Oh, it varies?
Each animal is different. For example, some associations have a newsletter. They put it in that, hey, this company, XYZ company, is doing our pest control, and they offer a discount rate. Sometimes the homeowner chooses another company because they feel that you're in cahoots with the management company. It doesn't matter. I mean, and it all breaks down to if the company trains the employees correctly, and if they're a big corporation or a small one, if they control their employees, if they stand behind their product, if they provide the service.
Well, these companies, if they're qualified companies, they're licensed, aren't they?
Yes.
The state has to provide them a license.
Our industry is very regulated.
You know, that brings a question I was thinking about, and that is, so why aren't we just saying, if you've got a maintenance man in your community, let the maintenance man spray these chemicals around? There's got to be good reasons why that doesn't work.
Oh, there's lots of reasons why that doesn't work. Because Jim Bob could be spraying around and misapplicate the product.
Put too much or not enough.
Right. You have staining.
Oh, so these chemicals aren't immune from causing other problems.
Right. There's staining or whatever, and Jim Bob doesn't know, and he doesn't take the training in the classes, and he's not up on, well, I can just pour this and let's see what happens.
And as I understand it, most of the chemicals that you're using, as controlled as they are, you don't buy them at Home Depot.
No.
Yeah.
No, because keep in mind again, the product is only allowed to last for so long. The chlordane, the lindanes, the dulgents, they're all gone. So you buy a product at Home Depot, you could put that down 4 or 5 times. That's easier to use than what I can use. And the shelf life of what I use lasts about 30 to 45 days.
And what they're using, they have to repeat the application.
Right.
The fact is, if they choose to buy their homebrew chemical from the local hardware store, it's just not as effective
Right.
on the long-term basis.
Keep it, this environment is high heat. The UV breaks down everything quicker. The watering, that all plays key.
Yeah, and knowing all of that plays key also. There's a lot to say about pest control and the application process, the fact that these people are trained. Let's find out more about that when we come back. We'll be right back.
CAI Report is brought to you by Bright & Clean Windows. Trust Southern California's favorite window cleaning company to provide consistent, quality window cleaning service to your home and office. Let Bright & Clean Windows make you look great by removing hard water stains from windows and shower door enclosures and by cleaning windows and mirrors to a gleaming shine. Call 346-9274.
Whoa, check out the action on the net.
No, Oscar, stay away from the net.
Not net, internet.
Wow, it's so fast.
That's because it's Roadrunner high-speed internet service. It blows everything else away.
Hello, what's that?
All right, he's looking for another fish.
Oh, quick buy, quick buy.
So, you're from eBay.
Is that anywhere near Chesapeake Bay?
Hey Tim, what's this I hear about your sponsorship with CAI doing so well?
My sponsorship in the television show?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's one of the best things I've done for the CAI, besides being a volunteer, that is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So is it helping you?
Well, it's helping me and it's helping my bottom line. I'm getting customers and making money.
What a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And you can have that opportunity too. Give a call to the CAI office so you can be a sponsor on our CAI report. The telephone number is 760-341-0559.
Communication is the key to successful homeowner association management. BestHOA.com specializes in creating websites that serve as the ultimate in communication tools. Taking advantage of technology to help association managers and board members efficiently and promptly deliver information is what BestHOA.com does best. Call BestHOA.com.
Welcome back. I'm here with Lori Fahenstock of Powerful Pest Management. We're talking about pest control. Lori, as we got off on the break there, we were just beginning to talk about the fact that these applicators that you hire are professionals and they're trained. What is that training all about? Do they take some extensive classes?
Yes, we provide the training. In my company, we train our technicians as to how we want the job done. We send them to training, then they take a state exam, and after they pass their exam, then they can go out and route and do what they do.
Once they've got their exam, then they're licensed, and that has them qualified to do what they do.
Right.
Yeah, and we talked earlier about the fact that a maintenance man can do this, but he's not going to be near as effective. He can't buy the chemicals you buy because they're illegal to buy, and the chemicals he can get at the local hardware stores simply don't cut it.
Right.
Yeah, it's amazing. We think about it. The old joke, you've probably heard it yourself 1,000 times, are they spraying water or food?
Right.
What I have heard is that many associations choose to change their pest control because they think the pest control is ineffective, and that's typical that it happens like in the summertime. But isn't there a reason for that? Aren't pests worse in the summertime?
Sure it is, yeah. As it gets hotter, they get aggravated and they come out as well. And everything does break down. You have to know when to apply certain materials. Certain materials are better in the summer than the winter, and how to do the job. And some companies stand our service, we come back. We come back and redo if we have to.
Is there something the association should know about adjusting their service in the summertime? Should that be something they discuss with the pest control company about how the service is taken care of?
Well, this industry is unique in itself, Steve, and it's based on salesmen. So you can do it one of two ways. Some companies, the more dollar, the better. Some have integrity.
Yep.
Oops.
Well, let's face it, every industry has integrity and some that simply don't. That's in every
Right,
industry there is out
right.
there. And certainly having qualified pest control specialists come in and service the association
Right.
is the best thing they can do.
Right.
Now, once they've gotten the association properly serviced, the outside of the property is pretty well taken care of. The homeowner hopefully has taken care of making sure the outside's got all the plates in place, their weather stripping's good. Then is there a need for the homeowner to have pest control service themselves as well?
What I tell my clients is yes, because any tiny ant can get in, and that's usually when the scout gets in, drops down the pheromone, you can come back to a real mess. If you have a monthly service doing an application on the inside, it deters the population. And that's really what you want. You want to control. You don't want to come back to a house full of ants. Or you don't want to come back and find your couch is a nesting place for rats. You want to have somebody coming in. I'm sure a lot of people have like a home watch or a monthly service where people come in and flush the toilets. But
Particularly important in the summertime when they take
yes,
off for the summer.
yes,
Sure.
and burglarized or whatever. You want to make sure that pest control is on that list. You want to have somebody coming in and applying pesticides. You want to have somebody checking your rat traps. You want to make sure everything's A-okay so you don't have a problem.
I heard you mention the flushing the toilets, the water down the drains. That's a pretty important part too when they're not home, in particular in the desert areas where the water evaporates out of that under-drain P-trap assembly. And so would a pest control service check that for them as well, or is that a home watch
That's more of
opportunity?
a home watch.
Okay.
That's more of a home watch.
All
You
right.
basically want them just keeping up on applying the materials,
Okay.
that kind of thing.
And if I in my home, I choose to have pest control service, but my neighbor doesn't,
Right.
is that a problem as well?
It can be. It can be. You could be doing everything you're supposed to be doing, and you're sharing a common wall. And next door, they could be having a party. They could have 15 dogs, and they could be having a mess. And the roaches and the ants can be coming over to you. That is why the association, I believe, in the beginning started the pest control maintenance, making sure that you have some kind of control on the outside. But I have seen it where you go next door and the people don't take care of their courtyard, and they have a whole population of rats living next door, and the poor people on the other side are overwhelmed.
So the association in that case really ought to be encouraging their homeowners to get pest control service individually in addition to what pest control service the association is putting in place, and then the entire package helps control the
Right,
population
right,
for the entire community.
Right. You're never gonna, you want to, there are some companies say that their material are environmentally safe and this and that. That's true. We all use registered materials, but you want to make sure your whole area is clean.
Yeah. And, you know, if you have a newsletter in your community, one of the things you might want to talk about doing is put comments in the newsletter about pest control. For information on what kind of comments you'd want to put in there, you can contact your pest control company. Your company certainly provides that information.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. It's really, you know, it's funny how the pest control thing is just an overwhelming problem. I remember distinctly one of the board members saying one time, "Why do we have pest control? We don't have any pests." Hello.
Hello, hello. Same with the termites, same with the termites.
Termites is a special issue, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Are they still requiring a termite inspection on a resaleable home?
The lender, it's up to the lender.
Oh, okay. And companies like yours provide that
Yes,
service?
we do, yes, we do.
Okay. Is it up to the association in most cases to take care of termites, or is that something the individual takes care of in most cases?
Check the CC&Rs.
Ah, okay. So the governing documents in the community play an important part with things like termite inspections.
Right,
Okay.
right, right.
Yeah. You know, When we're talking about pest control, that's one facet of community association maintenance. There's all kinds of maintenance that needs to be talked about. I'm glad we had a chance to talk to Lori today because this pest issue is a big issue. Certainly in your association, before you decide to suddenly change pest control companies, do some background investigation. Find out for yourself, is your company that you're currently using properly licensed and in that matter, so that you're using the right company? If you are using a licensed and insured company that's properly licensed, then if it's not working, find out why it's not working. Talk to the pest control company and find out is there anything more that they can do to help you out. When you finally got to the point that, you know what, they're simply not doing it right, then you call another company in. But always check the background, make sure they're licensed with the state, et cetera, et cetera. Those are important things to know about with pest control. One facet of maintenance. There's a whole lot more. The CAI is here to help you learn more about the management of your homeowners association, and we're on the air every day. We look forward to seeing you next time. Lori, thanks again for stopping by.
Thanks, Steve.
Sure
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Bye-bye.